Good afternoon, everyone. I am Shanine Marie de Bulusan, and I am going to discuss the kinds of soil formation. So first is residual soils. Residual soils are those that are evolved in place through the weathering of the underlying rocks. They stay in their places of formation and they are never carried away by agents of erosion. So meaning, it has not undergone transportation and usually found in tropical climates with relatively high temperatures and rainfall. So, soils in mountainous areas, hilly lands, and even in fairly elevated level regions generally have residual soils. The soils of the mountain provinces, Lanao, Bukidnon, or Bukidnon Plateau, and Tagaytay Ridge are examples of residual or primary soils. Next is the transported soils. Transported soils are those that have been carried away and developed in another place. So, transported soils meaning it is formed by the deposition of the weathered soil which is transported from one place to another place with the help of natural agents like water, gravity, and wind. And the soil in the center plain of Luzon from Pangasinan to Bulacan, the plain in Bicol, Iloilo, Agusan are examples of secondary or transported soils. So next is the colluvial soils. So these are formed from the disposition of weathered materials coming from slopes or higher regions by the action of gravity. So this type of soil is limited in extent in our country and is found only at the base of steep hills and mountains. So colluvial soils, as what you've seen in the picture, it consists of a mixture of stones, gravel, sand, and silt and forms a fan shape spread at the base of the hill or mountain. So now, let's proceed to the soil classification. Alluvial soils. These are the best agricultural soils of the country as they are the most fertile. As previously pointed out, alluvial soils are formed through the agency of running water. The materials are derived from the highlands and brought down to the plains and valleys through the erosive works of surface waters. So again, alluvial soil is one of the best soil because it requires the least water due to its high porosity. And the consistency of alluvial soils ranges from drift sand and rich, loamy soil to silt clay. And this soil may have fine or coarse texture. So, when we say fine texture alluvial soil, it is found in the central plain of Luzon, the Cagayan Valley, Panay Plain, and the alluvial flats of Rio de Mindanao. And in this region, rice is the principal crop. On the other hand, the coarse textured alluvial soils are found in Tarlac, Negros Occidental, and Iloilo. And sugarcane grows well in these regions. So next is the shales and sandstone soils. These are the soils derived from the weathering of two sedimentary rocks which is shales and sandstone. The soil derived from the shale is clay which is often dark brown, plastic, and sticky. So if mo dry na siya, the soil gets hardened and it is difficult to plow and water can hardly pass through it. On the other hand, the soil derived from sandstone is sandy and permeable. So these soil are formed on the eastern portion of the Ilocos region, southern part of Quezon Province, a portion of Bicol region, Samar, Masbate, Bohol, and Surigao. Generally, the soils derived from shale and sandstone are good for sugarcane, tobacco, corn, rice, and coconut, although the yields are not as high as those obtained from alluvial soils. Next is limestone soils. Limestone formation are found in many parts of the country, from northern Luzon to Sulu Archipelago. The soils derived from the weathering of the limestone rocks are rich in calcium and their color varies from light to gray. So, limestone soils are found in Batanes, Mountain Province, Rizal, Quezon Province, Masbate, Romblon, Cebu, Samar, Bohol, Negros, Panay, and in some parts of Mindanao and Sulu. Cultivated areas of this type of soil are planted to corn, coconut, citrus, cassava, and bananas. Volcanic soils. The parent rocks of these soils are derived from the materials that were given off during volcanic eruptions. These are found in the regions surrounding Manila, Tagaytay, Albay, and Negros Occidental. So, they are cultivated in raising citrus and upland crops. In the Bicol region, the volcanic soil together with the influence of drainage and rainfall is suitable for the production of abaca, while the volcanic soil of Negros is well adapted for the cultivation of sugarcane. So next is andesite and basalt soils. These are fine-grained igneous rocks which are derived from volcanic ejectamenta. Since andesite and basalt are hard rocks, the process of weathering takes place slowly. And the result is the soil became shallow and have low fertility. And owing to the high altitude where the soil is originally evolved, the works of rainwater carries the soil to the lowlands. So this condition give rise to the volcanic soils of Negros, the Bicol region, and the areas of surrounding Mount Apo in Mindanao. So as the soil is being eroded and due to the great intensity of rainfall, the basic components such as calcium are being leached, resulting in a low lime content. For this reason, the sugarcane fields in Negros Occidental, which is the leading province in sugar production, require about 8 tons of thyme per hectare to satisfy the crop requirements. Lastly, the mountain soils. Mountain soils are generally defined as poorly developed, skeletal, shallow, acidic, and relatively infertile. So they are also highly diverse and can vary significantly within limited areas due to different exposure and steepness. In general, they became less fertile and less developed as elevation increases. And these are the soils found in the mountainous region of the country which are derived from complex materials. So, because of difficulty of access and the mountains are covered with thick forest, the mountain soils are not yet well studied. The soils of the Central Cordillera, the Sierra Madre Mountains, the Diwata Ranges, and the Tiruray Highlands belong to this type of soils. They belong to the residual type of soils, which is because of their situations. So that's all for my part. Thank you for listening.